Gauteng, South Africa's economic heartland, faces a dire situation. The province is running out of water. The taps are drying up. Millions face a daily struggle for this basic necessity. The crisis is no longer a distant threat, it's here. The situation is a stark reminder of the delicate balance between water resources and human needs. Gauteng's thirst for water is immense, driven by its dense population and thriving industries. But the sources that quench this thirst are dwindling, strained by overuse, mismanagement, and the looming shadow of climate change. Gauteng's water crisis is a complex issue with no easy solutions. It requires immediate action and long-term planning to avert a catastrophic future. The time for complacency is over. The time for action is now. The evidence of Gauteng's water crisis is impossible to ignore. The Vaal Dam, a lifeline for the province, is shrinking. Its water level, once a healthy indicator of water security, now paints a grim picture. The once full reservoir is a shadow of its former self. Its receding shoreline a stark reminder of the crisis at hand. In Johannesburg, South Africa's largest city, the impact is being felt acutely. Residents face intermittent water supply, with taps running dry for hours, sometimes days. The inconvenience is palpable, disrupting daily routines and amplifying anxieties. The situation in Pretoria, the administrative capital, is no less concerning. The city's water supply is under immense pressure, with authorities implementing water restrictions to cope with the dwindling reserves. The consequences of depleted reservoirs extend beyond inconvenience. Hospitals struggle to maintain hygiene standards. Schools are forced to close due to a lack of sanitation facilities. The most vulnerable members of society, the elderly and the poor, bear the brunt of the crisis. Gauteng's water crisis is not a sudden catastrophe. It has been brewing for years. The province's water infrastructure, much of it dating back to the apartheid era, is crumbling under the weight of neglect and inadequate investment. Leaky pipes lose precious water before it reaches homes and businesses, exacerbating the shortage. Compounding the problem is the rapid population growth in Gauteng. The province is a magnet for job seekers and migrants drawn by its economic opportunities. While this influx of people fuels economic growth, it also places a tremendous strain on the already overstretched water resources. Adding to the woes are delays in crucial water infrastructure projects. Plans for new dams and pipelines, designed to augment the water supply, have been mired in bureaucratic hurdles and financial constraints. The lack of urgency in addressing these delays has only deepened the crisis.
The water crisis in Gauteng is a result of years of neglect and mismanagement. Our infrastructure is outdated and unable to cope with the current demands. To make matters worse, the population growth has been rapid, putting even more pressure on our already strained resources. We need to prioritize investment in new infrastructure and ensure that projects are completed on time to mitigate this crisis.
The water crisis in Gauteng is more than just a statistic. It's a human tragedy. Millions of residents face the daily struggle of living with water scarcity. The simple act of turning on a tap and having water flow freely has become a luxury that many can no longer afford.
Every day, we have to make tough choices on how to use the little water we have. It's heartbreaking to see children go to school without a proper bath, and the elderly struggle to stay hydrated in this heat. The lack of water is causing diseases to spread, and it's a constant worry for all of us.
Families are forced to ration their water use, making difficult choices between basic needs. The psychological toll of living with water insecurity is immense. The constant worry about where the next drop of water will come from takes a toll on mental well-being. The stress and anxiety are palpable, casting a long shadow over the lives of millions. Section 5. Businesses on the brink. Economic impacts of the water crisis. The water crisis in Gauteng is not just a social crisis, it's an economic one too. Businesses, big and small, are feeling the pinch as water scarcity disrupts operations and threatens their bottom line.
Manufacturing plants are forced to curtail production due to insufficient water supply. Restaurants struggle to maintain hygiene standards, impacting their business. Construction projects are delayed as water becomes a scarce and expensive commodity.
The tourism industry, a vital contributor to Gauteng's economy, is also feeling the heat. Hotels and guest houses face the difficult task of accommodating guests with limited water supply. Tourist attractions are losing their appeal as visitors opt for destinations with more reliable water access.
The economic consequences of the water crisis are far-reaching. Job losses are mounting as businesses downsize or shut down. The cost of doing business in Gauteng is rising, making the province less attractive to investors.
Section 6. A government's response. Too little, too late. The South African government has been criticised for its slow and inadequate response to the water crisis in Gauteng. While authorities acknowledge the severity of the situation, their actions have often fallen short of the urgency required.
Water restrictions have been imposed in several parts of the province, but these measures are often seen as too little, too late. Moreover, the enforcement of these restrictions has been lax, with many residents and businesses ignoring the rules with impunity.
The government has announced plans to invest in new water infrastructure, but these projects are often plagued by delays and cost overruns. Critics argue that the government's approach has been more reactive than proactive, lacking a clear and comprehensive strategy to address the root causes of the crisis. Section 7. The need for urgent action, a race against time. Gauteng's water crisis is a ticking time bomb. The longer it takes to address the underlying issues, the more dire the consequences will be. The time for complacency is over. The time for urgent and decisive action is now. The government must prioritise the water crisis as a national emergency. This requires a multi-pronged approach that addresses both the immediate needs and the long-term challenges. First and foremost, there is a need to stabilise the water supply. This means fixing leaks, reducing water losses, and improving the efficiency of existing infrastructure. It also means accelerating the completion of delayed water projects and exploring alternative sources of water, such as desalination and rainwater harvesting. Section 8. Investing in the future. Modernising Gauteng's water infrastructure. Addressing Gauteng's water crisis requires a significant investment in modernising the province's outdated water infrastructure. This means replacing ageing pipes, upgrading treatment plants, and expanding the water grid to meet the needs of a growing population. Investment in water infrastructure is not just about building new dams and pipelines, it's about embracing innovative technologies that can improve water efficiency and reduce waste. This includes smart metering systems that can detect leaks and monitor water usage, as well as advanced irrigation techniques that minimize water consumption in agriculture. Modernizing Gauteng's water infrastructure will require a significant financial commitment from the government, as well as partnerships with the private sector. However, the cost of inaction is far greater than the cost of investment.
Investing in our water infrastructure is an investment in our future. We must act now to ensure that we have a reliable water supply for generations to come.
Section 9. Conservation. Every drop counts in the battle for water security. While investing in new infrastructure is crucial, it's equally important to promote a culture of water conservation in Gauteng. Every drop saved is a drop that can be used to meet the needs of a growing population. Public awareness campaigns can play a vital role in educating citizens about the importance of water conservation. This includes simple but effective measures such as fixing leaky taps, taking shorter showers, and watering gardens during cooler hours to minimize evaporation. Incentives can also be used to encourage water conservation. For example, households and businesses that reduce their water consumption could be rewarded with lower water bills or tax breaks. Section 10. A call to action securing Gauteng's water future together. Gauteng's water crisis is a stark reminder that water is a precious and finite resource. It's a call to action for all stakeholders, government, businesses and citizens to work together to ensure a water-secure future for the province. The government must demonstrate leadership by prioritizing water security, investing in sustainable solutions, and enforcing responsible water management practices. Businesses must play their part by reducing their water footprint, adopting water-efficient technologies, and supporting initiatives that promote water conservation. Citizens have a crucial role to play as well. By changing our water consumption habits, embracing conservation measures, and holding our leaders accountable, we can all contribute to securing Gauteng's water future. The time for action is now.